Princess Beatrice thought her private life was completely safe, until her husband Eduardo finally said the one thing she never expected to hear. A single conversation pushed the princess to her breaking point, leaving her completely overwhelmed and in tears. Eduardo delivered an ultimatum so intense that it threatened to shatter her family forever. If you love deep dive stories about the royal family, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to join our community. It started with subtle, unsettling shifts that most people completely missed. On the surface, Princess Beatrice and her multimillionaire property tycoon husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, looked like the ultimate royal success story. They stepped out at high-profile events arm in arm, smiling for the cameras and projecting total unity. But according to insiders, that polished public image was quickly becoming a protective shield to mask a deeply painful reality. Behind closed doors, the pressure on their 4-year marriage had reportedly reached an absolute boiling point. Rumors suggest the growing rift between them became so alarming that the couple quietly took a drastic step, seeking the guidance of a top relationship expert in a desperate attempt to reset their dynamic. They even organized discreet summer getaways to exclusive spots like the Amalfi Coast and Saint-Tropez, hoping that time away from the intense media spotlight in London would help them reconnect. Yet, those luxurious escapes failed to fix the core problem. If anything, they only highlighted how wide the emotional chasm had become. The primary catalyst? Eduardo's explosive business expansion. As his luxury real estate firm, Banda Property, rapidly scaled global operations, Eduardo was spending more and more time overseas, constantly traveling to high-stakes markets in Florida and Palm Beach. While he was away building his multi-million-dollar empire, Princess Beatrice was left back in the UK, balancing life as a mother to their young children while bearing the full, crushing emotional weight of her family's relentless scandals. As the physical separation lengthened, emotional distance inevitably followed. Sources claim that just when Beatrice needed her husband's steady support the most, Eduardo was pulling away, throwing himself into his work and leaving his wife to navigate the stormy waters alone. And that set the stage for an explosive confrontation. Because while Princess Beatrice was clinging to hope that they could rebuild their marriage, Eduardo was quietly reaching his absolute limit, leading to a shocking ultimatum that would leave the princess shattered. Long before their marriage hit this breaking point, someone close to Princess Beatrice saw the warning signs coming from a mile away. That person was her own mother, Sarah Ferguson. Insiders say Sarah Ferguson was deeply suspicious of Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi from the very beginning. She looked at how quickly he entered Princess Beatrice's life and couldn't shake a bad feeling about his true motives. What bothered Sarah Ferguson the most was the timing. Before Eduardo started dating Princess Beatrice, he was in a committed, long-term relationship with the mother of his first child. But reports suggest that almost overnight, that relationship came to an abrupt end, and Eduardo was suddenly stepping out with a member of the royal family. This left Sarah Ferguson asking a very uncomfortable question. Was Eduardo truly in love with Princess Beatrice, or was he using her high-profile royal status to open doors for his business? At the time, Eduardo was aggressively trying to build his luxury property company into a global brand. Having direct ties to Princess Beatrice, King Charles, and Prince William gave his business an instant stamp of prestige that money simply couldn't buy. According to sources, Sarah Ferguson openly wondered if money and status were his main drivers all along. She worried her daughter was being used as a stepping stone. But while Sarah Ferguson kept her doubts quiet back then, to protect Princess Beatrice, the dynamic between them was about to completely flip. Because soon enough, Eduardo wasn't the one under pressure anymore. The tables turned, and Eduardo was about to use his growing influence to make a massive demand of his own. That was when Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi decided he had finally had enough, dropping an ultimatum that shattered Princess Beatrice's world. For years, Eduardo stayed quiet while major scandals rocked his wife's side of the family. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor faced wave after wave of devastating public backlash, stripping away his official roles and driving his reputation to an all-time low. To make matters worse, Sarah Ferguson became caught up in intense public scrutiny over her past links to Jeffrey Epstein, bringing another round of embarrassing headlines to the royal family. At first, Edoardo tried to stay neutral, but as his luxury real estate company expanded into multi-million-dollar markets across the globe, the constant negative publicity became a major threat. Insiders say Edoardo realized that being tied to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson was actively damaging his business reputation. Wealthy clients and big investors were starting to ask uncomfortable questions. Eduardo knew he had to protect his company, his network, and millions of dollars in future profits. So he made his move. Reports suggest Eduardo sat Princess Beatrice down and delivered a blunt, uncompromising demand. She had to completely distance herself from her parents. No more public appearances with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. No more high-profile outings with Sarah Ferguson. If they wanted to safeguard their marriage and protect their children's future, the ties had to be cut. It was a cold, calculated business decision, but for Princess Beatrice, it felt like a total betrayal. And what happened next pushed her completely over the edge. That demand completely broke Princess Beatrice, leaving her sobbing as the reality of her situation sank in. Her parents' scandals had caused her years of public embarrassment, but this felt entirely different. This wasn't just bad news in the headlines, it was a wrecking ball hitting the very foundation of her own home. Sources say Princess Beatrice was utterly devastated, weeping as she tried to process the impossible position Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi had put her in. For her whole life, Beatrice was fiercely loyal to her family. She had always stood by Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson, even when the rest of the world turned against them. But now, her own husband was forcing her to choose between the parents who raised her and the family she was trying to build with him. Insiders indicate the emotional toll left her feeling totally trapped. If she refused Eduardo's demand, she risked destroying her marriage and pushing him away for good. But if she walked away from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson, she felt like she was turning her back on her own blood when they needed her support the most. According to reports, Beatrice tried to negotiate, pleading with Edoardo to find a compromise that wouldn't force her to abandon her parents entirely. But Edoardo stood firm, leaving her completely overwhelmed by the crushing pressure. And while Beatrice struggled through tears to figure out her next move, onlookers couldn't help but notice something very strange about Edoardo's strategy. That was when observers realized Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi was playing a double game that exposed his true motives. Because while Edoardo was fiercely demanding that Princess Beatrice cut ties with her parents, he was pushing her to do the exact opposite with the rest of the royal family. Insiders say Eduardo has actively encouraged Beatrice to stay as close as possible to King Charles and Prince William. He urged her to step up, take on more public duties, and keep her place right at the center of royal life. This obvious double standard raised a massive red flag. If Eduardo's main goal was simply to protect his family from royal drama, why cut off Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson while aggressively holding on to King Charles and Prince William? According to reports, critics believe the answer comes down to cold, hard business logic. Being associated with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson brings toxic headlines that can scare away wealthy clients. But being close to King Charles and Prince William brings unmatched status, massive credibility, and opened doors for his multi-million-dollar real estate empire. It forces everyone to ask a deeply uncomfortable question. Is Eduardo truly acting as a protective husband trying to insulate his wife? Or does he see Princess Beatrice as a valuable bridge to the highest levels of power, one that makes his business vastly more profitable? Whatever his true intentions, Eduardo's relentless strategy left Princess Beatrice backed into a corner with no easy way out. Princess Beatrice is caught in a crushing position. She is torn between loyalty to her parents, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson, and the survival of her marriage to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. While the royal couple recently tried to put on a united front, the ongoing family drama continues to cast a massive shadow over her future. Edoardo's ruthless focus on protecting his luxury business and securing ties with King Charles and Prince William proves just how high the stakes really are. Princess Beatrice is realizing that in order to keep her marriage and protect her children, she may have to make the ultimate sacrifice, cutting off the very parents who raised her. It leaves us with one final haunting question. Is a royal title a key to ultimate power, or is it just a golden cage that destroys the people you love most? What do you think? Is Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi just protecting his family and business, or is he calculating his way to the top of royal society? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into royal life, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an untold story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.